Okay. So today we'll be talking about forgiveness. And like I mentioned earlier on, I was like, do the females get forgiven as much as the male get forgiven? Today we'll be looking at a case study of a couple who live abroad, and they've been married for over 7 years, and they have kids. I think the eldest child is about 5 years old. So the man had a child. I don't know if it's out of wedlock or maybe from previous marriage or maybe it's past relationship that led into making a child. But the wife, the woman he married as a wife at home, wasn't aware. Thank you so much, Angel, for the subscription. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. So recently, the man brought in the child into the family and he introduced the child as his niece to the wife. So along the line, the woman got to find out that the child isn't actually the man's niece, but the man's child, actually. So this went into a serious argument, like they had a serious fight over this, to the extent that the woman came up on the internet to like record the incident while she was kind of physically attacking the man and expressing her anger. I sent you an invite thing. So she was really upset. And so many people were suggesting that it's a normal thing to do, and the woman should just move on, she's overreacting, and all of that. So, in the process, the question came to my mind, and I'm like, if it was the woman that is in this situation, if it was this woman that had a child out of wedlock, and now she has brought this child into their matrimonial home, would the man, how would the man react? Will he take it in good faith? Will he easily forgive the wife? And this also goes to like cheating as in the marriage. Maybe the woman cheats and she got caught. Is it easy for the woman to be forgiven? As much as it would be easy for the man to be forgiven. So this is my question for the day as regards forgiveness. So I don't know if any of us want to share our opinion as regards that.
No, I don't think that she will be so easily forgiven because women, when you do stuff like that, they're
Okay.
deemed to wear the scarlet letter. They're looked down on. They're looked at as a whore, a prostitute, and just less than a human being. So I don't think my answer is no. I don't think that we. I know that we are not easily forgiven in those cases.
Okay. Angel, you have something to say?
Easily forgiven. We already have, at least from this part of the world, where they feel it's a man's world, he's polygamous in nature. Which other sentence do we hear? It's in his nature to cheat. So yes, yeah, I don't think so. When it comes to the woman, you feel like, oh, well, when it comes to the man, you feel like, oh, it's not something new, right? But when it comes to the woman, it's a big deal. I've seen a family where they feel okay. For example, let me tell you something. There is this guy, you know that people say everyone, no one is perfect. Okay. So this guy, his sister is married to this wealthy man. he has everything, he does everything for them, but his only flaw is he cheats. Now the family has accepted it and they have embraced it and told the lady to accept it because no one is perfect. So since that is his only flaw, she has to deal with it. So you see, I've mentioned it before anyway. So is that known to the woman, like she's aware of it, that even when the man is going for business trips, she helps them pack protection. So yes, cheating
Okay.
to an extent is not really a big deal when it's the guy, boys. So for women, I don't think it will be easily forgiven. But I'm saying for some places anyway. So
And that's
that's
been
my own.
happening since the beginning of time. Even in the
Um,
Bible, the lady, was it Mary Magdalene? She was, she went around and she slept with different men and she was stoned. Other men were stoning her. But if that was a man, if the tables were turned, he wouldn't have been treated like that. That would have been something that would have been bypassed. So that's been happening for many, many, many years.
Exactly. There was a time we brought that as a discussion, and someone was asking all the men that was ready to stone Mary Magdalene because
Yeah,
she was sleeping with other men. Nobody was getting to stone the men or asking where are the men she was actually sleeping with.
right.
You, so, yeah, that's my own opinion anyway.
okay. Because do you have any suggestion or input as regards this? You've been dating this man. Um, Finally, it leads to marriage. You're not married. You're not aware. He never mentioned to you for once that he has a child or even children. Or probably it could be something else. It could be an illness. It could be a disease. And he never mentioned to you that, oh, he's battling such health issues. And you only get to find out in the marriage. What would be your reaction? Becky, are you still here with us?
Okay, are you sleeping?
She cannot be sleeping. That will be too fast. That will be too fast. Vacay. Okay. Let's move on. Mr. Henry, you're welcome. What we're talking about today is forgiveness. We're talking about in the case of the male and female gender, saying that, and I gave a scenario, a case study of a couple who live abroad. This man, they've been married for like 7 years. Um, they have their oldest child is about 5 years of age. And this man brought in a 16-year-old teenager and he introduces her to the family as his niece. But as time went by, the woman got to discover that this child is not actually the man's niece, but the man's child, his offspring. So the woman reacted to that, and her reaction led to a spark. Like the woman went physical with the man, and she even had to come up to on social media to record the whole process. So while going through the video and reading through comments, a lot of people were of the opinion that, oh, it's normal, the woman is overreacting. She should let go and she shouldn't treat the child the way she's treating the child right now. She's making the child feel uncomfortable and this is a normal thing and she shouldn't have reacted the way she had reacted. So it got me thinking and I was thinking in my head like, if it was the man in this scenario, would he have felt the same way? Would people have had the same opinion? If it was a woman that came in with a child, pretending to be a nephew or a niece, and the man finds out that, oh, this child isn't truly a nephew, but actually our son, what would have been the reaction?
Wait a minute.
Okay?
Where
Mr.
is
Harry
this
said
normal?
you've witnessed it.
Where is this normal in the world?
Sorry?
Where is this normal? Where are they from?
That was what is in the comment section. And I think in Africa, most especially Nigeria, where I'm from, it's kind of normal.
Really?
It's kind of normal. But most times, the man gets to open up, or the woman gets to know that, oh, there is a child already. But in this scenario, in this situation, the man was hiding the child. He wasn't claiming the child to be his. He pretended that the child was his niece until the woman got to
Right.
find out that this child isn't actually his niece, but his own child. So I'm asking, and the woman was willing to forgive because she later came back online a couple of days later to say she has forgiven the man and they are back as one big family. She's going to treat the child as hers and everything is fine and normal between them. So I am asking now, if it were to be a man, a woman in this situation. Yeah, please. This is my network still okay. Sorry? Okay. I can hear you, but it seems as though your mic is mute. I'm surprised I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Can everyone hear Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Yes, we can. We can hear
I'm on the
you.
road.
Angel, thank you so
Going
much for your support. Thank you.
home now. I'm on the road, so I don't know if it's noisy.
Okay. I can hear you though. Please, can we hear Mr. Henry?
Can you all hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Good evening, all.
Good
Good
evening.
Okay,
evening.
actually, what the man did is not nice. At least you know yourself that you've gotten a 16-year-old girl before getting into relationship with this person. At least you should tell the woman, like, this is this, and this. I've gotten this, I've gotten that. You understand? At least the woman should know and accept you for who you are, like you've gotten a child before coming to meet her. She should know. But fine, you didn't let this woman know. That's the first mistake the man did. Secondly, you should look for a way, since you didn't tell her. It's gonna hurt the woman anyway. But look for a way and let the woman know that, I love you so much. But I feel like if I tell you that I've gotten a child, I don't know how you take it. Maybe you'll not accept me. That was the reason why I kept it away from you. You understand? It hurts the woman. But at least let the woman know. But the place that I got angry was, it's not like where this thing is happening is Africa. If it is Africa, we don't have issue. Do you get? But now this thing is happening over there. And if it's happening over there, this kind of crime, the way the woman put up this issue, with the violence and stuff like that. Despite she coming out to say she's forgiving the man and stuff like that, this thing can end up throwing the man out. We know that what this man did is not good. If it's me, if it's my wife too, I will not be happy. But I thought she overreacted, just like what other people say. Though I understand her point, but you should think about your marriage first and think about the situation at hand, the place you are before this thing happened. I don't know if what I'm saying you understand, Ines. Do you get what I'm saying? It can make you,
I
the man
understand.
can go out of your life because of that issue. Do you get? It's not easy. It's not a good thing. I'm not blaming the woman. Do you get? But I blame her because she overreact. If it is because the man was telling her, please calm down, calm down, calm down. Even the mother was saying, don't take this thing too high. But I felt her pain. That's the reason why she has done that. But I'm still saying it. If it has caused the man to leave the premises, those kind of issues, what would she have done? Would she have that sorry she's saying? Would things have come back normal? No. That's my point.
Okay, so now, okay. Are you
Can I
saying
add something to
that
this, Phoenix?
she reacting that way? You okay? Yes, please, Shato. Please go on, Shato. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you.
No, I was going to say, isn't that a serious sense of betrayal if the question was asked over and over repeatedly before the marriage, do you have a kid? Do you have any children? And he continued to say, no, no, I don't have any, only to get the element of surprise later on after the marriage. That's, to me, it's more hurtful or more painful to accept then when you know you've asked the questions compared to never asking him whether he had any, he had any extra children or not.
Okay. I share the same
That's my
thoughts with
views
you,
on it.
Shato, because yeah, because seeing where Mr. Eri is coming from also, you can hear him saying that the woman actually overreacted, which means he shares the same view with most of the comments that I read. And I'm like, how is she overreacting? I believe before going into a committed relationship with someone, that is marriage. If we're dating, it's simple, it's easy. This, but now you are married. I think before you go to the point of getting married, there are certain things you should discuss with your partner today, which involves most of your past or pains you have in secrets. You can just reveal this to the person. Let them know if they're willing to accommodate such and go ahead with the marriage is fine. And if they're unwilling to, then so be it. It's surprising you are asking someone of their relationship status while you are in a relationship with them and they're claiming to be very much single. And you're asking them of their parentalhood, if they've ever fathered a child or murdered a child, and they're like, no, I'm very much single without child and all. Only for you to get into the marriage and you realize that in your 5 years of marriage, the man already has a 16-year-old child outside who is disguising as his niece. And the little girl has been playing along, pretending to be the man's niece actually, until the woman got to find out that this child is not actually his niece, but his own child. So if the woman reacted the way she did by calling the man out and cursing him out, you feel like that's her overreacting. So me, I'm asking you, Mr. Henry, if it was the woman that did this same thing, this exact thing that you're saying she overreacted to, how would you feel? Would you find that pleasing? Would you say the man should easily forgive the woman and take the woman back? And from what I heard, the woman was the one who actually made the man move overseas. I think the woman was there already and she brought the man in. And then the man made papers for the child to also come join them as a niece. Sergio, I think we are sharing the same kind of illness right now.
Yes, that's exactly what
Welcome in, Sergio.
I wanted to ask Henry when he said the woman overreacted. I wanted to ask him if he was the one in the
Excuse me.
lady's shoes. If it was the man that found out that the lady did all that, how would he have reacted? Would he still try and protect his family so that the woman won't leave him? I want to know, please.
Phoenix,
Is that
the thing there
Would
is
he
is that
still
all?
exactly? Would he still have protected the family? Yeah.
Are you saying how would the man reciprocate if it's the man that found out that the woman is having a child?
Yes,
How
who
would the
she
man
brought
feel?
into
How
the
would the man
family.
react?
If the man finds out that the woman has a child, who she brought
Okay,
in
if
into the
it's
family
me,
as
if
a
it's
niece.
me,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Thank you
why I
guys
said
for the
it's
call.
not good. What the man did by not telling the woman, I put it up there. I say it's not a
Okay.
good thing.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
It's not a nice thing. I feel like the man lied.
Is it
The
my
man lied to
network?
the. If I find out that my wife has
Oh,
something like that, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be happy. Yes, I'm not going to be happy. But the issue is this: I will let go because it is in the past. It has happened before I know her. But it's just that it's going to hurt me because she did not let me know. That is me. I'll forgive her because it's not like we are together before it happened. It has happened long time. But it will pain me because she didn't let me know. That will not make me to cause chaos. I'm telling you the truth.
okay. Okay. With Valley, do you have a submission? Do you have something to say as regards this?
I think his statement
Yes.
was actually fine.
Long before I know her. Why will I get angry on that?
Yes, I have something to say. First of all, um,
Sorry
first of
about
all,
this.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for this
You're
evening.
welcome.
Yeah, so in my viewpoint, the way I see things, I think by definition, forgiveness means to detach yourself from the emotional attachment that is caused by the other person. So if the other person has annoyed you, so you have to detach yourself from that emotional attachments. So I think it is not an option for you to forgive someone, because we have to understand that forgiveness means that if you don't forgive the other person, it's you who's going to hurt. We have to understand that every time someone causes us harm or causes us something that is unfair to us, it is not the other person that is going to get affected. It is your emotional reaction. The reaction is happening within you, not in the other person. So if you keep those emotions within you, they are actually hurting you, not the other person. So I think this is very important to understand. If these emotions can have negative effects to your life, they are affecting your body. They are causing harm to your body, not the other person who has caused you harm. So I think it is not an option for you to forgive. You can forgive, but not forget. Okay? Probably you may not forget, because when you forget, you can do the same mistake maybe next time. But it's important to always detach yourself from the emotional reactions that you get when someone hurts you. In fact, if you have ever paid attention or you ask a doctor every time when you have some negative emotional reactions, and they take a sample of your blood, they can actually find some poison in your blood. Every time your brain goes into a survival mechanism, it produces poison. Okay, it produces those negative cortisol hormones. So every time when you're not forgiving, if you put yourself in a state of not forgiving others, you're actually hurting yourself. You're not hurting the other person. You're not forgiving the other person. You think you're hurting the other person, but all the chemicals are happening within your body. Those emotional reactions are happening within you. They are causing havoc within your body. So that's very important to understand. Then, if the other person has caused you harm, okay, has maybe fathered a child outside the marriage, and you are not aware and did not communicate, that's so sad. It's so unfortunate. But then it's important for you not to react in the negative way. You can probably uh, respond instead of reacting, because there is a difference between responding and reacting. You have to respond and find a solution. If you think this is something that is going to affect your future, you can make a decision right away. Or if you think it's not going to affect your future, because first of all, you met this person, you didn't know anything about him, you fall in love, you fell in love with him or her, then why would you, why would you choose to separate from that person because of a child, a life, doesn't really make sense. But I think the most important thing for people to understand that every time you react, every time you get any emotional reaction, it doesn't affect you at all. It doesn't affect the other person at all. It affects you. It's you who get affected. In fact, today, there is an evidence, there is a scientific evidence that people who are always carrying negative emotions are the
Mm-hmm.
people who are more prone to
I can hear
diseases
you.
like ulcers and cancers
Sorry.
and cancer.
Can
So
you say that
every
again?
time
Say that
you
again,
go
please.
into those reactions, just you're hurting yourself.
Wait, Valley,
Yes,
can you
there
say
is
that
a
again?
scientific evidence that
Yes.
people who carry, yes, I'm trying to say that again. Yeah? There is a
Mm-hmm.
scientific evidence that the people who have negative emotions, who carry negative emotions for an extended period of time, they get cancer and ulcers. Those negative emotional reactions, they eventually, with time, manifest diseases in your body. In fact, the word disease comes from the word dis-ease. And every time when you have those negative reactions, your body is in the state that is called a state of dis-ease. And the word disease comes from the word dis-ease. I think you can see the correlation.
Okay. Thank you so much. Shato said he disagrees. Shato, please, can you tell us what's your what's your take on why you're disagreeing with this? Because I can see you strongly yeah.
Based on the example that you give there,
Mm.
to me, it's tough to look at forgiving someone based on an issue like that, because if you're going from a relationship to marriage, there's certain things that you do not withhold, and you have to ask the questions, such as having a child, or what if you unalive someone during your lifetime and you spend like 20 years in prison or so forth. You don't want to withhold that from your mate, and think that past will never come out. So that's a form of betrayal, if you ask me, if
Or
not
even
way
someone who
beyond
has
line,
unalived
because these are the
someone
things.
and badly they got away with it.
Well, getting away
Look
with
how
it
long
wrong
his
is one
hand
thing,
is
but what
held.
if you spend time? What if you
16
spend
years.
time in prison for it? For
16
that.
years.
You did your 20, 25 years or whatever. You don't want to withhold that from someone you're going into a marriage with. At least make up some kind of story why that happened, or why you had to be incarcerated for that time frame, and think that it'll never come out of the closet.
Yeah,
No,
married
you
for
know.
7 years and the secret has been withheld for 16 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not right. These are things that there are certain things you just have to bring out there and let it be known before marriage. It's one thing if all you're doing is courtship, but when you're going into a marriage, there's certain things you don't, especially if you have a child out there, especially that one. You don't want to withhold that one, because it's showing that you're derelict to your children in a way. Because of course you have to be supporting that child if you're a responsible parent. So why withhold that? You know, that's my take on that.
I think he's been supporting the child secretly. So from my own conclusion, I felt like the man was marrying. He didn't marry the lady for love. He didn't really love the lady. He married her out of what he's expecting to gain. Because
Right,
if you have a
but
child before
if
you
if
met
he's been
someone,
supporting
there is
if he's
no
been supporting
there's
this
sorry.
child for so long, if he's been supporting the child for so long, obviously he has a good relationship with the child for him to be able to bring it into his new relationship now.
Exactly.
May, I,
And
may,
for
may
the
I
child to
respond
also
to
play
Mr.
along.
Shalto?
Because
Yes.
all along, the child has been pretending to be the niece until the woman
Yes.
found out. Do you get? So that's why I
Yes.
said I felt like this man married the woman for his own benefits. Do you get? Because he must have been in the life of that child. For the child to be willing to play along with the father as a niece, it means they have like a rapport. the child loves the father, and that means the father will be really supportive of being involved in her life. Because if it wasn't, I don't think that child would be willing to play along with the father, or even want to move to another country entirely with the father. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. Where my argument is if the child was, while he was still married, probably he cheated, and as a result of cheating, the child came in. But this isn't the scenario, this isn't the case here. The situation has long been in existence before he met his wife and married her. With Valley, you wanted to say something?
Yes,
Yes,
before Woods
I
Valley says
wanted
something,
to.
sorry. Woods,
Okay,
I
wait,
want
Valley,
Woods
please hold
Valley.
on a bit. Sorry.
I want Woods Valley to actually just say so. After everything he said, I don't know if I was not paying attention or I didn't get what he was saying, but after everything he said, is he
Okay.
saying the lady was overreacting or the lady or what the man did was wrong? Who is he supporting? I want to know the exact thing he's saying. Just let us know.
No, okay, like what the point I was making, like I was trying to say, actually, what Mr. Shalto said is absolutely right. Is right, and yes, it is a total. Um, it's so bad, it's so unfortunate that such a thing can happen. Yes, it happened, and now so what? It happened, and yes, it is here. So, what is the most important thing at this point is to find a solution for that. Like my entire point was all about that yes, something has happened and there is no way how you can reverse it because it has happened. So what's the solution about that? You can choose one of the two. You can choose to multiply it in your mind and make it as evil as possible, or you can try to see another part of it. Because now, if something has already happened, you can either choose to create emotional reactions about it or to respond. Responding comes from a position of being evolved and think and come up with a solution about what has happened. But then reacting cannot solve any problem at all. When you react, you're actually operating from the most primitive part of your brain. So my point was that when something has happened, something as evil as that, it is extremely important to sit back and you try to look through it in a human way, okay? And try to find up, to come up with a solution that is positive, that is not going to make you hurt, but also not to hurt the other person. Because sometimes we have to understand that when a person coming up to that point to probably not disclose all the information might have some
Wait,
reasons.
Valley. Wait, Valley. Can I come in a bit? You said not
Yes.
of the other person, but don't you think that this reaction has hurt the other person already? You hiding your child of
Yes, you
over
have to look at
16
the
years
Yes.
away from me,
you
your
Yes.
have to
wife.
look at the cause and the
Don't you
Yes,
effect.
think
I
you've
get the
hurt
point.
me already?
I get what you're saying, but my entire point is all about
Mm-hmm.
don't allow other people to control how you're going to feel,
Okay.
because if any other person can control how you're going to react, then you're a problem. Your problem is extremely important for any individual, a mature person, an old person to always control how you're going to feel. Don't give that opportunity to other people to play your strings, to make you. They can even determine. They can say something and predetermine how you're going to react. Don't ever allow that. If you have to be a functional member of a society, you have to make sure doesn't matter what is happening within the world, you respond instead of reacting. And I think everyone here understand the difference between responding and reacting. Okay, so just imagine if now let me give you
Okay.
a simple example. Let me give you a simple example. Just imagine you have a child, you have only one child, and God forbid this child dies. Okay, that is the most horrible situation a person can be in. It can be so hurting to lose the only child that you have. But then you can choose to die from the emotional reactions, or you can choose to respond that situation. Because if you don't respond, you can die and follow that same child. I don't know if you're getting my point. So
I
self-control
get
is
you.
extremely important.
Can I follow up to that?
Okay. So, okay, I
You
get
know,
you now. So now, okay, Shato. Um, mhm.
no, no,
Go
no.
on,
What
please.
he's
Go on,
saying
Shato.
is valid and everything. Yeah, what he's saying is valid and everything. But what I'm just saying is that when you're going into a marriage, it's just certain things, you do not withhold like that. Okay, especially if it was asked of you, do you have a child or have you committed a serious crime that will adversely affect me if I find out about it. Let's say, for example,
Yeah.
what if this lady went into marriage with this guy, and he unalived a family of 4 years ago, and they haven't found him yet. He's really on the run like a fugitive. Don't you have to look at it? Or someday they're going to catch up to him and find you right
Yeah.
in the middle of your marriage, and boom, he's gone just like that. You see? Likewise, if he let her know this, she'll decide, okay, I don't want to take a chance with him. Let me leave this alone. I don't go into a marriage. At least you're being upfront with something like that there. So later on, you don't have to worry about so-called forgiveness. You just don't withhold certain things of your past like that. Having a child or even unaliving someone. That's the example I'm giving.
Yeah, I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but you have to understand it would be so nice. It would be nice if someone disclosed all that information. But what if it has not happened? What if, because you see, sometimes we fall in love for many reasons, okay? And sometimes we can even forget to ask certain things, okay? And eventually we become hurt,
Love is
okay?
blind. Yeah, that's
Now
why
I
love is
can see,
blind, huh?
yes, yeah. Love is blind. I can find and see a very pretty girl, and in my experience for the few dates, and I find out that this is exactly what I've been looking for. So, if you choose to stay with someone, you have to take what comes with that person. Okay? So, if a person
No,
you
I don't
really,
have to.
really love
I
this
don't have
person,
to.
because honestly, why would you
Okay,
stay with a
I'll
person that you don't love?
listen to you.
If you love a person, you must take what comes with that person. That's my viewpoint. That's how I see things. That is my position.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much.
what Sweet Valley is saying in essence is he's not okay with the woman's reaction.
No, what I'm saying,
Exactly.
if a woman did that,
It's
if the
not okay
woman
with
did
the woman's
that,
reaction, but it's not in support. Yeah.
no,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like my entire point is, yes, if something horrible happened in the past, I cannot allow myself to get emotionally involved in that. Okay? If it's something bad, then I can make a decision, but
Okay.
making it outside the emotional reactions. I respond instead of reacting. Because you see, when you react, just imagine if for example, your wife did
Okay. With
something
Valley,
horrible,
I want to ask.
even
I want to
something
ask a
more
question now.
horrible. Okay.
Okay. Okay, with Valley. First off, thank you so much. I am Lawrence. Thank you, everyone who is joining and those passing by. Thank you. With Valley, thank you for the gift also. Happy hour. Thank you. With Valley, what I want to ask in this scenario, what would you or how would you advise the woman react?
If a wife, like, eventually
Believe.
after marriage, he revealed to me
Mm-hmm.
that he had a
Yeah.
child, something that he did not tell me before marriage, right?
Mm.
Is
Yeah.
that a
Yeah.
question? Yes. Yes. I would look at it. I would
Yes,
sit
that's the
and use
question.
my reasoning. Yes, I would sit and reason and realize if it's going to affect me, especially if you haven't gone far in marriage. If it's something that negative, something I wouldn't want to stay with a person who is
No, with Valley,
who has a child
you
already.
you you are
Then I would
5
make a
years
I would
gone.
make I
Okay,
would make a
sorry, 7
mm,
years gone. With Valley, you're 7 years gone in the marriage. You're 7 years
okay.
gone in the marriage. You already have a
Yes,
5-year-old child, and you have a
yes,
baby that she's nursing, currently nursing at hand. So you have like two children
yes,
involved in the marriage already. and the marriage is 7
Yes.
years old. Do you get?
Now,
Now,
Highness,
you are just
let me
finding
ask you a
out that
question.
the woman she actually has a child, and that child is living with you, but under the pretense of a family relation, like she's a niece. That's how it has been
Okay,
pictured to
yeah.
you all along. That this child is a niece, and now
I
you're
think
just finding out.
I think I have a very different way of seeing things. But
You
to
think you
me,
have
because Highness, you have to
okay.
understand that people have different intentions. Okay, many people in this world
Uh-huh.
are so insecure. Do you know that Highness? If you tell me that you have a child, do you know that sometimes you can limit, your chances of getting married? So there are some people who can lie just for only one reason, because they know most of the men don't want married what? I mean, women with kids. Okay, so sometimes me, I can understand, because first of all, unless this child is going to affect my finances, or is going to affect me in any way. But if it's because of a child, honestly, I don't see any reason why that would hurt me anyway. Having a child, and also a woman has given me more children. To me, that's not a problem at all. I don't think I would even, yes, I would love someone who is honest to disclose the information at right in the beginning. But if this person doesn't disclose this information, this person has a reason, has a reason why. And we have to understand, we have to learn how to understand. People do things for different reasons, and we have to put ourselves in their shoes to see their positions. If this person gives me a reason why she decided to do what she did, I think I can understand. I can put myself into their positions, into their shoes, and think like what, and I see if I would do the same thing at that point. So sometimes people can put others on a cross for something as simple as that, as a child. A child is a gift of life. So really, why would you hate someone for that? Why would you put someone on I don't think it's even
Can,
something good, really. Yeah.
can I add
In
one
this
more
scenario, who
example,
are you
Annex, to this?
blaming? Yes, please.
Okay. All
Please
right.
go on,
Let me
Shago.
just add one more. Yeah, I had a coworker years ago that was married, okay, to this school teacher, and they were well into the marriage, quite a few years, and they had a 3-year-old daughter, you know. So she told me on one of these days, when on her day off, the authorities came knocking on her door, looking for her husband, only to find out, that he has a 5-year-old kid, from a previous marriage, and they just been looking for him because the ex-girlfriend didn't have no information on him. So after all is said and done, and he had to go to court and do what he has to do now to start paying child support, it hurt them financially because in this country here, no matter what your financial situation is, once you have that income coming in, they're going to garnish a third of your pay. So now, even though they were hurting even more financially because now all of a sudden this secret came out. And why? He did not reveal to her before the marriage that he had a child out there from a previous relationship. See? And that's why I call that betrayal, because he should have just let it be known. That's all. Instead of the wife getting the element of surprise like that.
So why did the lady did not
Um,
disclose this information? Why do you think
okay, please,
the
if you're
woman
still
did
here, you
not
can actually
close
bring up the good
disclose
stuff.
that information at the beginning of the relationship? Why do you
With
think that
value.
happened?
With value. Okay.
It wasn't the woman, it was the man
With
that did
value.
not
Let me
didn't
ask you the question now. Yeah. So that's why I want to ask him, I want to re-ask him the question now so you get it. So with value, in
Okay.
a situation whereby a man has a secret he has withheld from the woman. Welcome in, Mary. Please, you can mute your mic.
This is unlike Jason. At least you reach out to me. Let me answer you. Maybe it's too busy. You should call me at least.
Sorry. Sorry, I had to turn
Yes,
my
Did
I can
somebody
hear you
mute
volume
now.
him?
to the private. Yes, okay. So the situation is this. You've been dating, all along dating. Let's say, for instance, I am your girlfriend and we've been dating and you found it worthy or you were willing to now be fully committed to the extent that you want to make it a marriage situation. You want us to be husband and wife. And I know fully that I have a child out of wedlock from my previous relationship. But I've never mentioned that to you for once. And you probably have asked me, oh, do you have someone from your past that you have a thing connecting you both? And I'm like, no. I never mentioned to you that I have a child. And now we are married. We finally moved to another country. And I told you I want to bring one of my relations to come live with us. And I bring a 16-year-old child. And I tell you, this 16-year-old child of mine, is my relation, is my sister's child. That's my niece. All along, you've been seeing and perceiving her as your wife's niece. And then, all of a sudden, due to one information or the other, you got to find out that this child is not actually my niece, but my own child from previous relationship. What would be your
Now,
reaction?
now,
Yeah,
Highness,
no, no.
let me be very,
Apparently,
very
he's been in contact with the mother.
honest
So what's he doing
with
with the
you.
mother? What kind of relationship does he have with the
Let me
mother?
be very honest with you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I'm
I want
listening.
you to me as me, and I'm speaking from my own position,
Okay,
my own perspective.
okay.
I'll be so, I'll, I'll be so hurt. I'll be so hurt, but not okay. I'll be hurt is because the reason why you're bringing this girl when it's actually your daughter. There is a lot. There is an entire book behind that because there is no any person who can do that just for fun. There is a lot of things can be behind, and immediately me a person as me who has gone through a lot, I can truly understand exactly why a person would do such a thing. Okay, so immediately I would do really put myself in a position of forgiveness, because honestly, if because we are different people, and every time when you deal with a person, you have to understand you're not dealing with an animal, you're dealing with a person. And our main intentions here on this planet is survival. Okay, if a person like you or a girl finds a way she's going to survive with her daughter, probably you don't know what went on in her previous relationships, so she's looking for survival. The fact that she's lying, that she's your niece, she wants you to stay with her daughter, together with her, then there is something that you don't know. But if you're intelligent enough, you can actually sense it, that this girl, this lady, needs some support for her daughter, and that's why she's, lying. So honestly speaking, I would so much understand that probably she's even going through a lot of pain. The fact that she can lie about this, it is something that is important for anyone to understand and put himself in a position, to truly understand what that person would be going through, to bring out that such a situation. Honestly speaking, that is me. I would truly understand. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say. I don't know if
Okay.
I'm using the right language to
Yes, I
bring out
get
my
you.
point, but
Yes, you
yes.
are. You are. Yes, you are. And your submission is valid because you've already personalized it. You said from you, this is how you react.
Yes.
So, yes, it's quite understandable. Shato is still saying that forgiveness still has its limitations based on what is to be forgiven. So, Chato, are you saying you cannot forgive such situation? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying in general, it's just certain things, you just can't just easily forgive, but you
You
based
can.
on you know what what it is that occurred or happened. Because if I'm going into if I'm in a relationship with a lady, and she tells me that, hey, 10
Mm-hmm.
years ago or something, I unalived my boyfriend and two kids of ours, and I'm a fugitive on the run. Well, am I supposed to say, "Oh, I forgive you for that," even though they haven't found you, and we'll live a life together and hope they don't find you? Am I going to forgive that much? No way. And how many people will forgive something like that? That's the example I'm giving as far as how far you would go towards forgiving someone. That's why it has to be based on what is it you're going to forgive, or what you're allowing yourself to forgive.
So,
Especially if
like,
you ask the question
if
over
I
and
may
over
ask
and
us
over
a
again, and
question,
the
yeah?
person denying it.
Mr. Sholto, like, I want to ask you a question, eh? If it's okay.
Which party you want to say
I
something?
want to understand, like, what's your definition of forgiveness? Like, what does it mean to you to forgive someone or not to forgive?
The definition of forgiveness is basically anything out there that happens or occurs that you willing to to forgive. If if let's say, for example, I'm going into this relationship, with this lady, and 5 years ago, we had a heated argument, and I slapped her, and that was the only time it happened. And I let her know before we go into a marriage that, hey, I slapped a woman once before. Will you forgive me for that? It's not something I'll always do. Yeah, that can be that's something that you forgive there,
Not everything.
especially for.
Not everything is
Yes.
forgivable.
So
Yeah,
what
right.
happens when
That's my point, and that's my point. Not everything is forgivable.
because we have to understand that forgiveness is an emotional issue, okay? It's something to do with your
No,
emotional
it's
reaction.
more than that. It's more than that.
So I want you to explain, to give me like a definition in your own perspective in a simple language that I can understand. Just in a simple way.
Point blank. You forgive someone of an act of something that they've done, but to me, it's still on a case by case basis. You can't say I will be open to forgive everything of yours that has happened or transpired with you in the past, because now I have so much love for you and everything that I'll look and put all those things beyond me. No, you don't do
I
that.
think
Especially, you know, yeah.
I
Go ahead.
think forgiveness is an emotional reaction. Eh? You're forgiving someone because someone has hurt your feelings. Okay, someone is one way or the other has hurt your emotional reaction, has caused harm to your feelings. So feelings is all about emotions, emotional reactions. Eh? So I want you to look at this in a most simplest way of looking at it. Eh? When someone has hurt you, okay, when, for example, someone brings a child and has not communicated that is a daughter, it's going to give you some emotional reaction. It's going to make you feel bad. Okay? But that feeling bad, like I said, it is not
Which Valley?
hurting the other
Which
person
Valley?
who
Hold
has
on. I don't think you
caused the
understand me.
problem.
I don't think you
It
understand
is
me. If I
actually
ask you over
hurting
and over
you.
again and you say no, I don't have a child, to me that's betrayal right there. You asking for forgiveness when you already betrayed me and told me you don't have a child. You see?
Please, can I say something?
All that.
Where is Valley? Let me
Okay,
say
Angela,
something
please go on.
because yeah, because I will soon leave. I need to get
Yes,
ready.
please.
See,
Okay.
if this was a case of the person had a child, before we got married, and the person was not aware, and then the person later found out after like 5 years of the marriage, or after we've been in the marriage for over 5 years, and the person finds out and tells me about it, is a different case. The person was not aware. But this is a case of the person was aware, the person was plotting and planning and brought this child. and lied. That's scheming, planning, betraying, everything to me. Is everything. You were purposely hurting my feelings. You knew what you were doing was wrong.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
denied it. And I will ask you every time, and you denied it.
But
You knew and you denied it.
but I
What kind of
think
love is that?
Angel,
Staying with
Angel,
such person, wait,
Angel.
let me finish. Staying with such person, that person can unalive me without thinking twice. I won't trust
Yeah.
that person. And what is love without trust?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but you see, Angel, what you're saying, there are many reasons why people would do such a thing, because sometimes a person can do it intentionally, but most of the people do it because they have no option. They have gone through a lot, Sometimes, now let me give you a simple story of something that happened to me personally. I think I'm a different
They
person
have no
because
option. How?
Yes. I think I'm a very different person because I had this girlfriend. My girlfriend, I loved her so much. Okay. Then this girl got pregnant. She became pregnant. Of course, she told me it is my pregnancy, but eventually I realized it wasn't mine, and she knew it because
Told you that
she
it's
did.
what?
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get you clearly. Sorry.
Yes, I had a girlfriend. Then this girlfriend, she got pregnant.
Okay.
Okay, and she told me it was my pregnancy. So I took care of her. I gave her everything that she needed. After giving birth, then she actually made a birth certificate in someone else's names. Okay, so I took care of the child for a certain period of time until I found out. Where I was paying her house, okay, I was taking care of her and the child. Then, as I was looking around, I opened up a book. I opened a certain book which was somewhere to read. Yeah? I found a birth certificate in the book, and I saw her panicking before I even saw the what? The birth certificate, because she knew that's where she kept the birth certificate. When I opened the book, I saw her reaction. Her facial reaction had changed. Then I knew there is something here in the book. I had to open up and I find it. I discovered that on the what? There was a birth certificate and it was in a different name. Yes, at that moment, I got some emotional reactions. But as an evolved person, I had to calm myself, to put myself in a centered state, to understand that yes, this has happened. I have nothing to do right now. I literally have nothing. I cannot change it. Okay, and this is a person I loved so much, but I loved her not because of the child, not because of anything. I loved her as a person. Yes, she became pregnant, and I thought she had given me a child, but I discovered the child wasn't mine. But I loved her even before she got pregnant. So when she started crying, I realized that I had nothing to do about it. I started listening her story, and she told me I did this, done this, and you're the only person that was in a position to take care of me. So I'm sorry, I lied about that. So I understood. And the reason why I loved this girl is not because I thought of a child. I didn't even think about the child. The child came as an accident. So I told her that it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to marry you. I wanted to marry you, but I'm not going to marry you. But it's okay. I'm going to give you some support until you get yourself on your feet. Then you start your new life. That is a conscious decision I made because I never wanted to to marry a person who got pregnant with another person when we were in a relationship, when she knew what she was doing, but I couldn't judge her. She's a human being. Even myself, I'm not an angel. She was my girlfriend, but I was also going out with other girls. So I'm not perfect. I cannot judge her. I'm not an angel. So we have to be honest with ourselves, and we judge others based on who we are. We don't have to see ourselves like angels, and yet we judge we don't have to do evil things, and then we try so much to see angel in other people. That will not be possible. We have to be lenient and make decisions from the right state of mind. I don't know if you're getting where I'm coming from.
What I get is, Witch Valley, you're
I
one
get
in a
you.
million. You're one in a million.
No, it's not being one in
Not,
a million. It's
yes, because
being,
not
I
everybody.
think it's being,
No.
is because most of the people, you're right, most of the people react to situations, but the most important thing, in fact, the only thing that makes us human beings, that the reason why we are different from other creatures is because we can choose not to react and respond. Other creatures just react. All other creatures on the face of this planet react, but human beings can choose to respond to situations. That's exactly what I did.
Reaction is a normal.
That's really perfect. That's really
Reaction
Yeah,
is a
perfect.
he's a
That's
normal.
he's
nice.
he's a strong
So
he's a strong man to let so many things
actually,
go,
yes.
beyond him.
But that's not, no. Mm-mm.
Because
Because you have to
if a
understand,
woman
this is a
walks up to
person
me,
I loved. I loved. Because when you love someone, it's you have to because of course I knew this girl had weaknesses, and I
hey,
accepted her
so
with
which
her
valley?
Okay.
weaknesses. Yes, please.
Okay. Wait,
So which
Vanish.
valley? One last
Let me
thing.
put it this way.
I was
Go
gonna
on,
say, so which
Shantae.
valley? You're a heck of a man. So if a woman walks up to you and that love is so strong, but you found out she's had 6 kids out of wedlock, and she's also had 4 divorces, it'll be fine with you to put all that behind you and forgive all that type of lifestyle, whatever
Yeah, that's
happens,
that's what
because
I'm
the love is
saying.
so
All
strong.
man. There's one in
Because
a million.
you see,
All of us.
forgiveness,
Not
in
everybody.
my understanding, in my viewpoint, forgiveness is not to in any way help the other person. Forgiveness is for my personal help, my emotional healing.
Health,
Because when I
healing
forgive,
and health.
it means I neutralize the
It could
emotional
be
reactions.
everybody.
Okay, that is what forgiveness is in my own understanding.
Okay.
It is how to neutralize the emotional, because the other person, you can choose like I did. I told the girl that I'm not going to be in a relationship with you, I'm not going to marry you like we had planned, but I chose to not react because
Yeah.
reacting is going to cause emotional pain to me. So I said, first of all, I have nothing to do about it. I will not tell this girl to kill the child. I'll not do evil things.
Of
It
course.
has happened. There is totally nothing to do about it. So you have to see what is next. And what was next for me, it was to tell her, I'm not going to marry you, but yes, I can support you because I loved you. Okay, I loved you, but having another child, it wasn't in the plans. So right now, I'm choosing to find another woman to marry, not you, because you've betrayed me. But I cannot judge you for doing what you did because
So
I'm also
so
not
so now it's
perfect.
betrayal there.
Yes, it was a betrayal, but yes.
Definitely.
I'm I'm confused.
No, it
Any
wasn't. It
wait, let me
wasn't.
say
It
something.
wasn't a
Nobody said
reaction.
anything about
It
um
wasn't a
telling the
reaction.
lady
It
to
was a
unalive the
response.
child
Like
or
I've been saying, there is a
to do
It's a
difference between
anything.
reaction.
reacting
It's
It's
a
and
a
responding.
response.
reaction.
No, no, it is.
What is
It isn't.
reaction? Reaction is the way you
React.
respond to situation,
No, there is a very
isn't it?
distinctive. No, reaction is actually me being a neuroscientist. I understand this in a different way. Reaction is, for example, when I slap you, when I give you a slap, you're going to react by slapping back. Cause and effect. Okay? That is
Okay.
reaction. But then responding, when I slap
Okay.
you, I can ask, I can think and say, now when I slap this person back, when I give back a slap, where are we going to end? Okay? So I choose to do something else. That is using your prefrontal cortex brain, the thinking brain, to come up with a solution. But reaction doesn't bring any solution. It brings more violence. Okay? When you react, you're actually contributing to violence. Because now, just imagine if a girl comes up and says, this child doesn't belong to you, and you react. You can kill the girl. You can kill the child. You can do evil things, when you react. But when you respond, you go back and think and say, now this has happened. What is next? Very few people who respond, most of the people react. And that's why people have to understand the difference between the two.
Yes, please. Everyone is confused. Yeah.
Come again?
Sorry, Angel, come again. What did you say? Angel, I don't get you. What did you say?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you now. As an example. Yeah. Yeah. It was a reaction. According to Wheat Valley, it was a reaction.
No, it isn't. It's not. I think let me put it like this. You see how this is how life works. When you see
Wheat Valley.
the
Wheat
process,
Valley. Let me come back with the
process.
scenario. Wheat Valley, hold on. Wheat Valley, hold on a second. Let me come back with the scenario again. So the scenario we are
Okay.
using, we are citing as an example in this situation now is a couple who are married for the past 7 years and they have kids together. And now the man relocated his child to the family, to the country where the family is based now, under the pretense of being his nephew, his niece rather, sorry, because it's a girl. Do you get? And the woman all along has been thinking
Yes.
that this child is the husband's niece until she found out. And when she found out, she went furious. She was angry. Obviously, she started cursing out on the man. Started to wanting to go physical with the man.
Yes.
Do you get me? The man, knowing
Yes,
what
yes.
he has done, was still calm and was trying to pacify the lady. So people on the comment section of the video, when it went viral on the internet, they were saying that this woman has overreacted. It's a normal thing. She should have welcomed the child and she shouldn't maltreat the child. She should accept the child as one of theirs and be open to the child. She shouldn't have embarrassed the family by coming out in the public to make a scene and at the same time recording the whole process. So now,
Yes,
Angel,
yes, I
but
get
after
the
a
point.
couple of days, the woman came back on the internet with the child, with the said niece, and was saying that she has forgiven the husband and she's still willing to keep her marriage with her husband. And she's going to treat the child as hers also, as they are all one family now. Do you get? So now, Angel question is, the
Yes.
woman's reaction, the whole scenario now, is that the woman's reaction or response? That's your question, right, Angel?
Yes, yes, yes. I even think I saw that video. I remember. But you have to understand the woman reacted. But eventually she responded. But you see, in most cases, people they react, then after some time they try to respond, but when they have already reacted, when they have already caused the chaos. Let me give you an example. You see, in most cases, in relationships, we have seen people, they have fights. Maybe a husband has done something wrong because you see, by nature, women are more reactive than men. Okay, because it is this is comes as a result of the structure of our brain. Okay, women operate dominantly in their right brain, and men operate dominantly on their left brain. Yeah? So the right brain is more emotional. So that's why women, they react, they can easily react. That's why you see every time, in fact, I remember some time back I was having a discussion with one of the head of a biggest prison in our country here in Uganda, the head of the prisons. He told me that most of the women in the prison, they are in prison because of reactions. Okay, they get some small, simple misunderstanding with their husbands, and they end up killing them or causing very big injuries. That's a reaction. Then eventually they start regretting. Said, "Hey,
Okay.
I don't. Am I the one really who did this?" It came from your survival brain, the fight or flight
Okay.
response,
Okay, now,
instead of
well,
being
with value,
intentional.
I, with value, yes, I've gotten your submission now as regards reaction and response. So now in this scenario, the
Yes,
woman first reacted before she responded, if we are to
yes.
go by the
Then
story.
even
So now, would you
yes.
say now in a response, she forgave the man and actually accepted the child as a member of the family, right?
Yes,
But
but
now in
if
your
she
own
had done
scenario,
that at
you
first,
you
if she
actually
had done that at first, it would be nice. But she first reacted, but then eventually, then she started responding, started using her thinking brain.
Miss Valley, I want to ask, when you hurt people, do you tell them how they react to how you've hurt them?
Sorry,
Is it
come again.
normal for you to is it normal to determine how someone's react to how you've mistreated or you treated them? Is it normal for you to ask or to
To ask,
determine how they
to ask.
react? To
Yes,
determine, let me use the word
I
determine.
usually I usually pay attention to people's, but you have to understand that most of the people on the face of this planet, they react to situations other than responding, because you have to understand, it's only a few people who use their conscious mind. Let me tell you, I think if you have been watching my videos, I actually teach people how to use their thinking brain. You have to understand that
Yeah.
over 98% of our brain, over 98% of our behaviors are controlled by a primitive brain known as the sympathetic nervous system, which is controlled by the primitive brain, that nervous system.
By what?
98% of
Okay.
our
Okay.
mind is unconscious, is controlled by, is the reactive brain. So you can see 98 is a very big percentage. Okay,
Okay.
most of the people are actually operating from that part
Okay.
of the brain. There are very few people who can respond to situations. So me being a person who has some knowledge about how the brain works, I know how to. I've trained my brain to respond every time something happens. I have to take some time. Yes, the reaction, the emotional reaction can erupt. I can feel it, but I wait. I give it time until I use my thinking brain. My thinking brain is going to overwrite the reaction, and I make a proper decision based on my thinking brain, not from the reaction, not from the primitive brain, the animal brain. You get it?
Okay.
Yes.
So with value, giving both examples that have been made, is it safe to say that the women forgive more? Like the men get forgiven more than the women in situations like this? Because in your situation, your response was you taking responsibility of the child to a certain level, but you would never want to settle with the lady as a partner for life,
Women.
right? And now in this
Mm.
other response, the woman was willing to stick to the man as a partner for life. So does that
Yes.
have to do with the female and male gender? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
So now
men,
you agree that the women, men can get past
men,
so many things than the women will.
women don't usually forgive. In fact, let me tell you this: women don't usually forgive. They only forgive because they have literally have nothing to do. Sometimes, you see, usually in most cases, especially in African marriages, it
Really?
is always the men. It is always the men with the
Really?
upper hand. Yes,
Okay.
women don't
Okay.
forgive because
Okay.
they are very emotional. You see, people who are very emotional, who are not very logical, they always operate from their emotions. So it's very difficult for a person who's emotional to forgive. Okay, but sometimes they are forced to forgive or to appear as if they are forgiven because, of course, because of the situation. Most of the women in our African setting, they don't have much grounds. They don't have much support. They are always supported by men. So if you don't forgive, then you have to find an alternative way of living your life. So they forgive because they have no any other option in most cases. I don't know if you can understand. But we men are so forgiving, okay? They are always having the upper hand, but sometimes you see they can, after going through the situation and respond, they can come like I did in my relationship. I actually, instead of torturing this girl, I decided to give her some support for a certain period of time until she gets on her feet. Then she started living her own life. I did not react. I did not cause her wish her harm because most of the people actually would want to see this girl suffering. They would chase her out of the house. They could do this and that, which is not necessary. Now, when you do it, how are you going to benefit? When this girl is suffering, how is it going to benefit you? That is my question. So if you have nothing to do about it, just, find a solution and life goes on. Why would you hurt someone because of a mistake that is not reversible?
Sorry, my network can't bring you up. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Are you getting me?
Mary, you are home now. Do you have anything to say regards this? Yes. Yes, I got you clearly, Mr. Wait Valley. Henry, you are home now. Do you have anything to say as regards this?
But
Okay.
the fact is, like I was saying, oh God, Isabella, please hold on, please.
Okay, we can hear you. Oh, he has muted. Okay. Miss Braver, do you have anything else to say?
That so sorry,
Angel.
so sorry about that. Okay,
Okay,
so you see, in
no
in
problem.
in everything, like I was saying, I'm not saying the man did right. Okay, I didn't say so. The man did wrong by not letting the wife to know.
Okay.
Okay, but I just feel like um it has happened before. You made a statement like the man did that for his own interest. Maybe got married to the woman for his own interest. Do you get? You say something like that when I was in the car, but I didn't. I don't know if I get it right.
Yes,
I
yes,
felt like
yes.
it has happened. Yeah,
Yes,
this
yes.
incident has
He said
happened before.
I felt that way.
This is okay. This thing has happened before the man got married. Before the man got married to this woman. The only problem here is the man didn't let the woman know that, you know what, I have a child. Do you get? That's where the problem is. So the woman feel like, hey, you lied to me, and she hurt the woman. Do you get? But I feel like the woman should just look it like, okay, fine, this thing has happened, and I forgive you. If it is me, like I was saying, I will forgive as well. I'm telling you the truth, Ines. I will forgive honestly because it has happened before getting married to me. But it hurts me that she didn't tell me. That's the
Okay,
problem. I'm
you
not
don't
going
get
to.
it. Okay, okay. Mr. Henry, I agree with you that
Yeah.
yes, it happened before they got married, and he probably didn't want to tell her, or probably she did not ask the question, do you have a child? Do you have any child? Do you get? But my own
Opinion.
reasons for doubting the man's intention towards the woman is the fact that he brought this child in under the pretense of the child being his niece. What happened to
Mm-hmm.
opening up that, okay, I had a child 16 years ago. I'm sorry that I did not tell you about it, but I have a child and I would like for this child to come stay with us so that I can take proper care of her or be involved in her life
Okay.
fully. Probably he wasn't
Okay.
opportuned to
Okay.
be involved in the child
Okay.
life previously, you get. And
Okay.
recently, probably the
Okay.
mother is not granting him access and he wants to be. So I see no biggie in opening up. It's the fact that he denied, he had to pretend that the child is the niece and told the child to play along so she can be allowed in. That is why
Ines.
I'm saying that I feel like he did that
Ines.
from his own
I
selfish
get your point.
interest.
Ines, there are
Yes,
some true that
yes,
there are
please, I
some
can hear you.
true that is hard to say. Do you understand? The
Mm-hmm.
man didn't do well because he felt
Okay,
like if I
okay.
tell my wife now that I've gotten a child, okay, that I've gotten a child, the woman is going to feel bad. One, it's not going to even allow this man to even bring that child to that place, to US. The woman is not going to allow it if this man says so. So this man just feel like, you know what he did is bad. What is bad is bad. We cannot rub it. We cannot use soap to rub what is bad. It is bad. Do you get? But I feel like if
So
this man
do
let
you
this
think the
woman
man
know
really,
that,
do you think he genuinely loves the woman in this situation? That's my question.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because if you
Okay,
love the person, if you love this person,
okay.
you will tell this person from the very onset. Even the person asks you or not, you will say everything about you. Like me, I will say everything about me
Because
to you
there are other
because
ways.
I
There
want
are
to be.
other ways you can bring the child to the country. There are other ways the child can finally come to the country if he wants. She can come through studies means. Do you get? Bringing the child
Yes, it's
under
possible.
pretense is what I do not like. Such a person
There is no
can
trust.
easily marry a second wife and pretend to be a family member and bring them over and under the care of the woman, all under the
You know
expense
the
of the
problem,
woman. So I
the true
felt like
issue,
he was intentionally deceiving the
the
woman.
true yeah, the true issue is this, Ines. The true issue is this. It's just the whole thing
Yes, please.
lies on the man. The whole thing lies on the man for not saying it like I have gotten a child. Do you get? That's just the whole
He
thing. So
denied
he
it. He
lied.
denied it.
Yes, he denied. So that's just the fact. You understand? For not bringing, projecting himself like,
Yes,
you know
please.
what? I've gotten
For
this
lying
child
about
maybe in
it.
my early days that, she's there. Because if you look at the age, you understand. You see that, yeah, this man has gotten this child, as early. Okay, fine. So you should like tell this woman. But now it has happened. Like he didn't tell the woman, and this woman finds out. Do you get? So now lies on the woman is here to accept this girl.
Yeah.
This girl did nothing wrong to you. You need to look at it in that way, like See, me, I always think if it is me, what will happen? That's how I do think. If it's me, what will happen? So, in my own way, I say it like I'm going to forgive this woman. If it happens, if it is me, I'll forgive her because it has happened in the past. Maybe she didn't know how to tell me. That's the reason why it happened. But the problem I'm having now is pretending I'm doing that and bringing the child over and saying the child is your niece. That's where the problem is.
Mm,
Do you get? But
mm, mm.
escalating
Yeah.
the whole issue that way, you understand? That is
That's a
why I said
reaction.
the woman overreacted.
Was
Do you
wrong.
get? Because that
Okay.
thing should this man,
So a
yeah,
reaction
they
is
can
wrong.
deport this man before you know marriage will end. This man, you understand? So that's how I feel. But let's put it right. The man did not do
Okay.
a good thing. Do you get?
Okay.
It's not a good thing.
He
So
lied.
my questions still stand. My questions still stand. Do you think that men get easily forgiven? Sorry, women do get easily forgiven as much as men are easily forgiven. Do you think so? Before we round up, we have like eight
I
more
think
minutes to
I
go.
think uh, I think I think women easily forgive than men because if it is man, the reaction from man might not be what we are talking about today. There are some men like that.
Okay.
They will just tell you it's
Okay.
over, it's over. But you know, women can
Okay.
forgive you. They can forgive you somehow. Yeah, women easily forgive than men.
So
Okay.
true. So
And
true
which
on that
value
one.
is of the opinion? Which value is of the opinion that women easily forgive because they have no option or they have nowhere to go to? Do you get?
No,
So he
it's
thinks
not like they don't.
that's the
It's not
reason
like
why
they
most.
don't have option. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It's
Mm.
not like they
Oh,
have no option.
okay.
They have option. But the
Mm.
reason why women
Thank
forgive
God you.
is
Okay.
because they feel like
Okay.
it's just like they feel like because they love you. That's just the reason why they forgive. If woman love you
Yeah.
genuinely, no matter what, they will forgive you because it will let go. But you as a
Okay.
man, the reason why I feel like men don't forgive like that because of ego. Sometimes ego makes some men don't forgive. It's not like they can't, but they feel like what will happen, what will people be talking about. But when woman genuinely love you, he will forgive you no matter
Ego,
what. She
pride.
doesn't care what
Okay.
people are going to say.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Don't even look
Shato, do
at.
you agree with Eric? Do you agree with Eric's submission on this?
No, not with everything that he says, because like I said,
No, as regards
the bottom line
forgiveness,
is,
as regards the men being more forgiving than the women.
oh, well, yeah, women are more forgiving than men. It's true. That is true by far from what I've seen and experienced out there, but it's still an individual choice as far as how much and to what extent you'll forgive. To me, when a person consistently denies certain things that is asked of them before marriage, that should be something that's very difficult to forgive there, because that's, to me, that's opening up more doors to say, what other things have you lied to me about? You see, that's my thing with that. You know, oh, how much more can I trust you now that you lied about having a kid? What other lies are there out there? What are the secrets do you have in your closets, in your skeleton closets, that's there to be unveiled or come out in the open? That's how I look at that.
Ah, okay. Big man Aris, you have anything to say as regards this? Mm.
No, I just agree with what they both said.
What are you disagreeing on? The fact that women easily forgive men, or men get easily forgiven than women.
It's straight up facts.
What's the fact?
No, it's straight up facts that women are more forgiving than men is.
Okay. Okay. Angel, my love, thank you for staying this long. Like, I know you really have to go, so you go prepare. Angel, you're of the opinion that the men get forgiven easily more than the women are often forgiven, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. There was something I wanted to say something. There was something Henry said. Henry said there are some truths that are hard to tell or something. The
Yeah.
when there was a time in my younger sister. I'll be quick. My younger sister brought her assignment to me when she was in primary one,
Please
and she
mute your
was
mic,
showing me how
Mary.
to write. She was showing me. They gave them something to write, a sentence, and the sentence was,
Mm-hmm.
"The truth is bitter, but it must be told." I always hold that sentence to heart. The truth is bitter, but it must be told. If you claim you love this person, you just have to say it at one point. The truth is bitter, but
Okay.
it must be told. And then the fact that you
Okay.
kept it and then you kept denying it and then you were plotting. No, I don't see any excuse. And I wanted to tell Wiz Valley, I don't know why he dropped when he said women stay because they don't have option. That story, the
Mm-hmm.
lady in question was the one that helped the guy to cross over, right? So it's not like she didn't
Mm-hmm.
have anything doing. She had something
Yeah.
doing, but she still
Yeah.
decided to forgive. So that's his
In
point.
this
She's not. It's
situation,
not
like
valid.
it's as though she had more of the finance. She was more financially stable than the man at this
Exactly.
point.
So that his point is not valid. It's not
Mm.
valid saying that it's because they don't have option. Because the lady clearly had option. She did it out of love to forgive. She didn't
Maybe,
do it because she had
maybe
no
in
option.
this situation, with value will say she stayed because if she leaves the marriage, just like Henry was trying to push, if she leaves the marriage, she has lost the marriage. I say if she leaves that marriage, no one else is going to marry her for being once married. You get. So really,
Yeah.
it's a tough one, honestly, for women, I would say. But this is where we come to the end of yeah. That diamond and pearls. You want to say something?
Oh no, no, no.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you guys so much for your time. It's always nice having you around. Thank you for honoring my invitation. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate your presence so much. Next week, I wanted with Valley to take us, but I don't know how much available is going to be, seeing that his network is really kicking him in and out. So I wanted him to take us more on how to optimize our subconscious mind. Thank you so much, Shato. Um, conscious mind in regards to reactions to aspects of life. So, if God keeping us alive, if with value will be here with us, is going to take us on that. But if it's not, definitely we'll come up with something else on the table for discuss. Thank you so much. I love you all. Catch you all next week, same time. Bye. Thank you so much, Shato. Bye, everyone. Please, everyone, unmute and tell me bye. All right, so we're glad to
Nice
have
topic
you.
here.
Next.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.